What is going on, guys? It is Wrestlelamia here, back with some more news. Join us now as we look at the wildest news stories and rumors you need to know, including Becky Lynch releases maternity photos, who gave Drew McIntyre his sword. To be honest, it surprised us. AEW signs another former WWE superstar, Renee Young's podcast, and much more. Be sure to subscribe and hit that notification bell for daily wrestling videos and follow us on Facebook for exclusive lists. Now let's hit the intro and get straight into the first story. Our first story looks at Becky releasing photos of her baby bump. As Becky Lynch and Seth Rollins prepare to celebrate the birth of their first child, the couple has released a number of photos celebrating the upcoming event. There are photos on Instagram and Twitter that feature Becky and Seth dressed to the nines, with photos of them together, as well as photos that focus on Becky. While Lynch is believed to be due to deliver the baby sometime in December, it's unknown whether it's a girl or a boy. As for Lynch's wrestling return, rumors persist that she'll be back in time for WrestleMania 37 and that the current plan is for her to face Ronda Rousey. We reported on this in past videos, but the story is making the rounds again, and obviously it's always worth repeating. Next up, who gave Drew his sword? Drew McIntyre has a badass new entrance on the 16th November Raw, with the Scottish psychopath coming out into the Thunderdome in a kilt and carrying a sword like something from the classic film Highlander. Drew drove the sword into the entrance ramp, setting off some spectacular pyrotechnics. Although it's unknown if this was a one-time entrance, we do know where Drew got the sword from. During a chat with Fox Sports, the new champion revealed, "Recently Vince McMahon and I had a conversation about it. I was just thinking about walking out with a kilt, but obviously he likes to take it a little bit further. Suddenly we had the sword and the pyro, and he was very hands-on with this. I guess I'll just let the cat out of the bag. The sword I had is actually Vince's sword. It was gifted to him by Stephanie and Hunter. I didn't know how it started, but I believe the conversation went, 'We need a sword and we don't have one.' And Vince goes, 'I have a sword.' I heard that story and told him, 'Of course you have a sword.' I'm not gonna lie, Vince McMahon collecting swords is pretty badass. Another person who actually likes to collect swords in the WWE is Kofi Kingston, if you didn't know. But the chairman has an eclectic collection of items ranging from high-priced cars to the T-Rex he keeps in his office. Yeah, we're not joking either. It's a T-Rex skull, not an actual one. Next up, a former WWE Superstar signs with AEW. Now you can add Matt Sydal to the list of former WWE Superstars who have been signed by All Elite Wrestling. Sydal, who worked in the WWE as Evan Bourne, has been appearing on AEW television including AEW Dark and Dynamite, and how could we forget his debut at All Out? Sydal's signing may garner criticism from people who claim AEW is a haven for WWE cast-offs, but so far the promotion has been careful about who they sign, as opposed to, say, WCW in the mid-90s that signed anyone leaving the WWF, even Virgil. What do you guys think of Sydal signing? Let us know in the comments down below. Next up, rumors on Thunderdome's new location. The WWE Thunderdome has been at Orlando's Amway Center since SummerSlam, but with the basketball and hockey returning to the arena, the WWE is headed for a new home. The question though is where? While it's believed the WWE is settled on Florida, there are different reports on just where it's headed. Let's look at the two top contenders so far. In an exclusive report, eWrestling News' Ryan Clark has revealed WWE will be moving their production to Tropicana Field in St. Petersburg, Florida. As of this writing, the residency at the venue is expected to last for a while. Of course, the MLB isn't expected to be back until early 2021, so the Tampa Bay Rays wouldn't need this facility until at least March or April. Clark also commented on the reason keeping the WWE in Florida. Despite the COVID-19 pandemic raging out of control these days, Florida Governor Ron DeSantis continues to say that he has no plans to shut down the state and is actually encouraging people to pack stadiums. Of course, WWE and other sports entities set their own guidelines, so it remains to be seen what WWE plans on doing in an outdoor venue. Now, there have been rumblings of the WWE moving to Tropicana Field for some time. The road to it may have a small detour, however, as Ringside News' Steve Carrier tweeted on 17th November and the WWE needs to be out of the Amway Center by December 5th, but their lease is up on November 25th. No new venue has been announced. We've been told that they might go to the Capitol Wrestling Center for a very short stay. We were told if it's more than 1 week, I'd be very surprised. Next up, the reason on why The Miz has the Money in the Bank briefcase. Some fans are still wondering why the WWE chose to take the Money in the Bank briefcase off Otis and put it into The Miz's greedy little hands. We've heard theories such as the majority of WWE writers were unhappy with Vince's decision to make Otis into the 2020 Mr. Money in the Bank, and that Vinnie Mac got bored with Otis's push. Now Dave Meltzer is stating that WWE wants to build suspense for when The Miz will cash it in, and he may not cash it in until 2021. Despite Dave's speculation, fans know there's no guarantee of how things will play out thanks to Vince McMahon's almost maniacal moods that see constant rewrites and last-minute pushes, and also cancellation of pushes. For all fans know, Tucker may end up with the briefcase in 2021. Okay, maybe that's a stretch. Next up, Renee Young's new podcast. Congratulations to Renee Young, who has announced she's joining the ever-growing list of wrestlers and wrestling personalities to start their own podcast. Renee posted the news on Instagram saying, "Woohoo! A brand spanking new podcast coming your way. Oral Sessions. And no, it's not about eggplants, it's about cool-ass people having a great conversation." Young's work in the WWE as an announcer, panelist and interviewer was highly praised, and her podcast may be worth checking out. Young teased her first guest may be Brie Bella. And finally, The Undertaker says he'd love to wrestle forever. As the WWE prepares to give The Undertaker his final farewell at Sunday's Survivor Series, the WWE Universe continues to ask if this is really the end of the road for the Phenom's in-ring career. The Undertaker spoke with Yahoo Sports about his career as well as the chance of continuing to perform. He mentioned, "I still have the passion to do it. I wish I could do it forever. When I watch the shows or I'm there live, the juices start flowing and I feel like I'm ready to go out and perform. The reality of the situation is that I'm not physically able to perform at the level I want to perform at. I could go out there and cash in on all of the equity I built up over the 30 years, but I can't deliver physically what I think people pay money to see The Undertaker do." Kudos to The Undertaker for not wanting to cash in on his name and appear in the ring without the ability to deliver what he feels the fans deserve. It's a sentiment that more wrestlers, both young and old, could benefit from adopting. But there you have it, guys, the wildest wrestling news stories and rumors you need to know. Be sure to leave your comments down below, subscribe if you haven't already, follow us on Instagram and Facebook for exclusive lists, and I'll see you next time with some more wrestling content.